I also weave in my coaching practice as an integrated breakthrough coach. So I work with different tools and therapies and practices to help bridge the unconscious with the unconscious and bring them into greater alignment and harmony. And so a lot of this is addressing significant past experiences that are being stored in our neurology and our physiology as trauma.
What services do you offer? And since we were on that topic, and I mentioned like the way you work with people in ceremony is it's so beautiful and in depth. Feel free to elaborate what comes to your heart, what you're offering, and the process. Like you kind of touch on a few things.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. One of my so my most robust, if you will, and like well-rounded offering is the Serpent the Rose container. And this is a women's circle. Currently, I feel like the Brothers of the Rose are stepping in and forward. And so there might be a Brothers of the Rose edition in the future. So putting that out there for the brothers. Who, might feel resonant in being held in space by the divine mother archetype and such. Because there is the healing of the divine feminine within each of us, regardless of the body that we have incarnated into. But it's the Serpent and the Rose Experience, and this is really like the weaving of sisterhood. And this is currently it's a 3-month program. In the past, it's been a 9-month program. And so it's evolved a little bit. But what I found is 3 months is a really accessible commitment. And for those who would benefit for ongoing support, there's like the opportunity for that. And so this has a real emphasis on preparation, effective preparation and integration, and community. And so not only are we in community and getting to meet the other women in which we will be sitting and sharing ceremonial space with, building trust with each other, with our sisters, but also building trust with the facilitator and the space holder, which also allows a greater degree of opening and surrender to take place, and a deepening of the already profound experience that can take place, because truly we are the captain of our ship, right? And so I've just found that this is another quality that assists us in optimizing our experience. And so typically we'll start meeting about a month before the retreat itself, and then about 2 months after the retreat, both in community setting as well as one-on-one setting. And I also weave in my coaching practice as an integrated breakthrough coach. So I work with different tools and therapies and practices to help bridge the unconscious with the unconscious and bring them into greater alignment and harmony. And so a lot of this is addressing significant past experiences that are being stored in our neurology and our physiology as trauma. Stuck emotion. So for example, when we're triggered and we react and we are feeling emotion that is not appropriate to the current experience. And so part of it is doing some of the unloading and the discharge and the release work before sitting in ceremony. And, once we start to go through and revisit some of these challenging experiences when we are in a conscious state or not in an altered state, we are also building rapport within ourselves that we can go through difficult experiences and we can get through them and we can feel and we can release. And the only constant is change. This isn't a forever thing, right? So all of that is in preparation for ceremony. And then afterwards, we have a community to connect with. And not only are we talking about like what's going on and the hardships and the feelings and what's happening, but we're also celebrating each other and building, again, just sisterhood with kinship people who we didn't just grow up in the same town and go to high school together. It's like we bonded in ceremony and sacred space. And so that's that's like the most robust way and of working, and it's also the most accelerated path. Some people might be interested in working with ayahuasca and sitting in ceremony, but maybe they're not quite ready. So maybe we'll start with like coaching, and we'll start to unpack some of the trauma, unload some of the trauma, cultivate again and emotional intelligence, and become more stable with ourselves, start to fall in love with ourselves again, start to treat ourselves with more kindness, cultivating trust within ourselves. And then maybe ceremony is in like a future timeline. And then also another cool, awesome way that I've been guided to start facilitating medicine is working with pure vine as well. So for people who aren't ready, or for the psychoactive experience, maybe they don't want it, maybe they don't need it, maybe they're like, I'm already open, my life is like a psychedelic trip all the time, like already, and I could benefit from the medicine, but I don't need a psychoactive experience. And again, this medicine is, so working with the pure vine, it's more subtle. So it's not the big bang experience, but it's just as profound. The medicine lies within Banisteriopsis caapi, the vine, ayahuasca. And so this is the facilitation of the sacred purge. Again, just is peeling back, creating space, and beginning to, release and let go of some of the denser frequencies in which we're still carrying. And that might turn into a later experience of the full brew. So I do that both in group settings. I have an offering called the Allyship, which is just started. It's happening now. So we're doing it in community, working with pure vine, and microdosing, and I'll also offer song or ikaro to bring in the sound frequency of the master plant teachers in which I've established a relationship with in the jungle. So bring their medicine through song. And then I also work at the capacity of just like one-on-one. So maybe somebody misses the enrollment for the allyship, or maybe they're not feeling aligned with like a community experience, but they want to work with the vine. So truly at this point, there's a lot of like customization that's taking place and co-creation that's taking place depending on who comes into my space and what their needs are, what their intention is, and then we'll feel into some options together and find something that feels really aligned for that period of time.